Hey.
Knock 'em dead.
Hello, friends. We are here to celebrate Shyian and her final exhibition, Grad Defense, in front of the panel. Panel, we're going to quickly run down the line. We'll start with John and Sean this way. Just quickly introducing yourself and saying hello. We'll turn it over to Shyian. Then we'll have some time for questions, first from the panel and then from the room below.
Hey, Shyian. I'm John Maroney. I work at Numerica Credit Union, and I don't know, I get to talk with all sorts of people about money, and so I'm excited to hear a little bit more about you today.
Yeah, I'm Christine McReynolds. I work with Heart, right out from Portable, your school. We work with families that are experiencing homelessness and transitional unstable living situations.
Hi, I'm Shyian. I'm the Restorative Practice and Beloved Community Manager for Spokane Public Schools, and my feeder pattern is specifically the NC feeder pattern, or Central feeder patterns.
Hi, Shyian. My name is Tamika Lemire, and I work for Spokane Public Schools.
Hi, Shyian. I'm Kathleen Scott. I'm the principal at Three Springs High School, which is a project-based learning school in Cheney.
Okay. So did it start whenever? Great. Okay. Well, hello. Well, my name's Shyian, of course. And if there's one thing that truly defines me, it's that I'm a grower. I'm someone who constantly pushes myself to do better than I did the day before. I believe in change, in progress, and in learning from every experience, no matter how big or small. Life hasn't always been easy, but every challenge I've faced has helped shape me into the person I am, into someone stronger, more focused, and more self-aware. High school has been an eye-opening journey, and it brought so many new experiences, opportunities, and lessons. Whether it was adjusting to a new environment, learning how to build relationships, stepping into a leadership role, or figuring out how I learn best. I've grown in every area of my life. Each project, every job, every tough decision, and every small success has helped me understand more about who I am and who I want to become. I'm proud of the connections I've made and the way I've challenged myself to step outside of my comfort zone outside of my comfort zone. Growth isn't always easy, and sometimes it means failing first, but I've learned to see those moments as stepping stones, and being a grower doesn't mean I stay in the past. I use it to build a better future, and I know with that mindset will always stay with me no matter where life takes me next. Some of my best work during my 301 year at TCS, our advisory class focused heavily on autobiographies. Throughout the year, we worked on multiple drafts that each helped us reflect deeply on our personal growth and experiences. Out of all the versions I wrote, I believe my final autobiography was my best. It showed how much I matured in both my writing skills and how I saw myself. In my 401 year, I worked closely with a partner in our class's election chronicle project. Each pair was responsible for their own selection of the final section of the final publication. My partner and I shared the work of gathering and organizing the information, and while he focused more on the digital formatting and layout, I took lead on the writing all the context out. It was a good experience in teamwork and communication, and it felt good to see our finished section come together as part of something bigger. At New Tech, one of our standout projects that we did in my senior year was our serial killer presentation, and it's basically just okay. Despite choosing a serial killer who had very little information available, I did extensive research and was able to put together a decently strong presentation.
You're doing great.
I was proud of how I managed to keep my classmates engaged while presenting, even with the limited materials that I had. It was a really big push for me in the creative aspect and being confident in front of the group. Another proud moment at New Tech was during our pinning ceremony this year. I had the honor of participating in the color guard, where I performed in front of my entire class and their families, which was a big moment for me. Being part of the color guard helped me practice discipline and teamwork, and it felt great to represent my program in such a meaningful way. Looking back, those are some of the best examples of the work that I've done during high school, and they each challenged me in different ways, such as writing, research, public speaking, and leadership, and they all helped shape me into a better person. Well, that's nice. Anyway, okay. In 7th grade, I moved to Cheney while all my friends from elementary school stayed in Spokane. Starting at Cheney Middle School, which begins in 6th grade, was difficult because most of the students had already formed their friend groups, and my anxiety made it even harder to connect with new people. So not only did I not really make friends at Cheney, I also ended up losing most of my friends from Spokane because I wasn't able to hang out with them as much. When I started my one-on-one year, I was still living in Cheney, which meant waking up early every day just so I can get to school on time. And despite the long commute, I chose to attend TCS because of the challenges I faced in middle school, both socially and academically. I often struggled to make friends, and the traditional classroom environment didn't really suit the way I learned. When I heard about TCS, I knew it was the right place for me. What drew me in the most was the focus on building strong relationships and learning through hands-on experiences. I saw it as a chance to not only grow academically, but also connect with others and build healthier and more meaningful relationships. In my 201 year, I ended up moving in with my dad, who lives in Spokane Valley, which was a new experience for me. The commute to school was a bit easier compared to my 101 year, which it did help me with the day with less stress, having to get up earlier and hurry to get ready. Academically and socially, though, my 201 year was a bit similar to my 101 year in some ways. I was still learning how to build relationships with both the students and facilitators there. But I'm proud of the progress I made that year, especially when it came to making friends and becoming more comfortable in the school. TCS continued to challenge me with its non-traditional learning style. Instead of the 6 separate classes a day, we worked on integrated projects that involved collaboration, knowledge and thinking, oral communication, written communication, and agency. I began to appreciate how learning could be taught in different ways, especially through teamwork and hands-on experiences. Some of the projects we did helped me build skills in communication and problem solving, which also helped me connect more with my classmates. During my 201 year, I also started thinking more seriously about my future. I began exploring with what my options might be for my 301 year. That's when I heard about Running Start and New Tech, which got me excited for the new year. Because I was excited to learn more and see the growth I can get from that. Looking back, my 201 year was filled with a bunch of different growth in different ways, not just academically but personally. I was beginning to understand more about who I was and what I wanted for myself. Okay, 301 year. I pushed myself to take on more opportunities and responsibilities, especially during my 301 year. One major goal I had was joining Running Start so I could get a head start on my college level classes while still being in high school. Unfortunately, due to some combination of personal challenges and scheduling issues, I wasn't able to enroll into Running Start. That's okay. It was a disappointment at the time, but it led me to explore my other choices that I had, and that's when I found out about New Tech, which ended up being a much better fit for me, I would say. Around the same time, I was also working at a restaurant, a job I held for nearly 2 years. I started out with just one position, but it quickly ended up being multiple positions by the time I left. And I grew more confident and capable in a fast-paced environment. That experience taught me a lot, especially about responsibility, time management, and staying calm under pressure. Eventually, some unexpected and difficult circumstances forced me to step away from the job, but I'm still really grateful for everything that I learned while I was there. In the middle of my junior year, in the middle of my junior year, I made the big decision to enroll into New Tech, their criminal justice program there, while continuing at TCS. At first, balancing 2 schools and a job at the time was really overwhelming for me since it was new and I wasn't really used to it. I struggled to stay on top of everything and felt kind of stretched thin. But after the first month, I began to find my rhythm. I learned how to manage my time better, stay organized, and reach out for support when I needed it. It was a tough transition, but it taught me a lot about perseverance and adaptability. In my 401 year, I continued the routine I built, splitting my time between doing project-based work at TCS and attending New Tech for criminal justice. This year, I was a lot more successful at balancing the 2 schedules. I gotten better at managing my time and staying on top of assignments and navigating different learning environments. One of the biggest highlights of this year has been my experience in the criminal justice program. I was promoted to squad leader, which gave me the opportunity to develop my leadership skills in a real and meaningful way. As a squad leader, I was responsible for guiding and organizing the cadets in my group. This role taught me a lot about This role taught me a lot about communication, accountability, and how to lead by example. Around the same time, I also decided it was time to change my work life. So I got a new job, and not long after starting, I was promoted to shift lead. This new position has been much better fit for me than my previous job, and I enjoy the fact that I have more responsibilities there. The environment is much better, and I'm able to apply the leadership skills I learned in class to my workplace. Looking back, my 401 year has been one of growth and a little bit of confidence. I've stepped into leadership roles, learned how to manage time more responsibly, and build stronger routines that support my goals. It feels like everything I struggled with in the earlier years, like time management, communication, and self-confidence, is starting to come together in a positive way. Okay. I have a lot of goals for the future, and it all starts with getting my driver's license, which will give me more independence and flexibility. But for now, I plan to continue working at my current job while I wait for my waiver to be approved for the Army National Guard. Joining the National Guard is a big step for me. It's not just about the challenges, but also proving to myself that I can do something difficult and meaningful. I also see it as a way to serve and help others in a purposeful way. I've already taken some important steps towards this goal. I met with my recruiter, I completed all the necessary paperwork, and I went to the military entrance processing station where I passed my physical and handled other requirements there. Right now, I'm waiting for my waiver to be approved, but once that happens, I'll be able to swear in, receive my job that I picked, and get my shipping date for basic training. Even though I only plan to serve for 4 years, I know this experience will open a lot of doors for me. One of the biggest benefits of serving in the National Guard is access to the GI Bill, which will help me pay for my college education after my college education. Okay. After my service, I plan to attend college and major in marine biology, something that I've been passionate about for a long time. The GI Bill will make it a lot more easier for me to afford school, so I can focus on learning and building a future I am proud of. Serving in the military and using the GI Bill afterwards will give me the chance to grow, gain real-world experiences, and follow my dreams without the heavy burden of student debt. I'm committed to never stop growing and to continue to take steps that push me forward. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, I have a daughter who suffers from extreme anxiety, and I applaud you for getting up there in front of everybody and pushing through that. I know it's something that's very real and very hard for people to overcome. So I am very proud of the work that you just did, even though you were nervous.
Thank you.
I totally get it, I understand. And I think part of that, living with something like that, it was sounds like a big push for you and advocating for yourself to experience different learning environments and ways of learning. And I think that's a really great thing that you did. So,
Thank you.
yep.
I really appreciated in your presentation in the beginning when you talked about who you were. A quote that you had is, "Who I want to become." And as someone in education, I know we always push students to think about what you want to be, but that part of who you are becoming is so powerful. So I'm curious, because we heard some hardships along the way, and I'm just always gonna ask this to everyone. If you could tell your freshman self anything, or if you could fill yourself with affirmations, what would it be?
Probably just to not let the doubt take over. With all the hardships, I was like, oh, maybe this isn't right for me. Maybe just be more positive about them.
Own your confidence.
Who's next?
Go ahead.
No, please, please.
Well, I just been curious about the color guard experience, the pinning ceremony. What is that? What do you?
It's basically like graduation for New Tech.
Okay.
So New Tech, the program at my class is a 2-year program. So, and we have the pinning ceremony every year. So when you go your first year, you'll get your pin for year 1, and then when you go your second year, you'll get your pin for year 2. And it's kind of just to congratulate you for completing it. Yeah.
What do you feel you gained from being a part of that program?
I feel like I gained a lot, integrity, more confidence, since my teacher there does push me a lot to step out of my comfort zone and just everything like that.
And thank you for sharing with us. I'm curious, how did you feel when you were in the color guard? Because that seemed to be one of the seminal things you really talked about. What were you experiencing? Yeah, how did you feel?
Well, I'll be honest, I was pretty nervous that I was going to mess up since there's a lot of people there.
Did you mess up?
But no, I did not mess up. But, no, I don't know. I felt, I was kind of a little prideful that I was able to do it and everything, so, yeah.
And you mean prideful in a positive sense?
In a yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Oh, good. I was like, I hope so.
Proud of herself.
I think, I just was very curious because that seemed to be a really defining experience for you. And so
Yeah,
I really think
definitely.
as you move into whatever comes next, remember how you felt in that moment and bring that Shyian with you.
Okay,
Again,
I definitely.
love the Shyian we have here. And then I'm curious, where are you working now, and what job did you pick in the guard?
The job I'm working now is so irrelevant to what I want to do
That
in the
doesn't
future.
matter.
No. Okay, I work at a pizza place right now.
Which one?
So, Papa John's.
Oh, fantastic.
But whatever. I get paid, so that's what matters.
We're not here to judge. Hey, I was a lazy teenager. I didn't work at all, so I really admire teenagers who have jobs.
I work at Godfather Pizza.
Okay.
Throw down.
And the job I chose for the guard was 12D, which is a diver. Yeah.
And that fits with the Marine.
That does fit pretty well with the
This is
Marine.
such an important detail.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, I just have to ask a follow-up. Diver, this is a wildly dangerous, there's all sorts of wild, crazy things that can happen. But you're like, yeah, sign me up for that. But standing in front of like the 5 strangers, maybe, which would you prefer to do? Slap on some diving gear right now and jump into an unknown body of water, or do another presentation?
The body of water. I'm gonna have to go with that one, y'all.
More of a solo thing.
I really admire that. It's, I think, because as someone who's absolutely terrified of like water in general, I just think that's remarkable and wonderful. I'm so glad that you have that courage within you. So thanks for sharing with us.
I also wanted to point out, I don't remember where in the presentation you mentioned it, but you were talking about growing in your relationships. And I just wanted to say, sometimes that relationship growth can be just as important as the academic growth. Like, you need to be able to function in a society where you're talking with people and interacting with them and being able to just do that well. So I think that's just as good, and I'm glad that you brought that up.
I just have a comment, it's not a question. So I just want to extend gratitude for your vulnerability in sharing your challenges and in sharing with us how you overcame them. That's not always easy, people don't always want to do that. And then we're very deeply reflective in this whole process. And you also spoke about adaptability and being open to change and just all the different changes that you experienced in this from 7th grade until now. And I just believe that deep reflection and being adaptive, adaptable, adaptive, whatever the word is, those are really good characteristics that I'm sure you'll continue to carry with you as you're an adult, but like lean on those, especially the reflective piece. I think those are really important. And it's something that I continue to dive into. So I just want to share that with you, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Your journey. Oh, and the one last piece about thinking about your long-term goals and your plans of going to the guard and then going into college and using that to pay for college. So thinking about that and how you're going to do that, I think that is a wonderful thing as well. So there's a lot of goal setting and planning that all people, young people, old people, anybody don't have and don't do. So that's really good.
Let's open it up quickly to the room, to Everest.
So Shyian, I'm really curious actually, looking back at like all 4 years of high school, like you may or may not have an answer for this, but like, what is your single favorite like memory or moment that you can recall, at least right now?
I don't know, Everest.
Tell me later.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any impossible questions for Shyian? Shyian, we're very proud of you. Very well done. Congratulations.